has achieved 7 straight months of, get this, zero releases of apprehended illegal immigrants into the United States from the border.
Outgoing Republican Senator Tom Tillis had a more measured reaction, arguing on X that, quote, any administration official who rushes to judgment and tries to shut down an investigation before it begins are doing an incredible disservice to the nation and to President Trump's legacy. Democrats like Raleigh area Congresswoman Deborah Ross doesn't just want an investigation, but she wants Kristi Noem to be removed as DHS secretary.
They are hurting our communities, they are hurting our businesses, and she simply does not care.
And now the country is facing another potential federal government shutdown. A bill that would fund several agencies, including DHS, requires 60 votes to be passed in the Senate, meaning it would require votes from Democrats. However, that party leadership says they will not vote for it unless it includes an overhaul of CBP and ICE. Andy Weber, Queen City News.
Turning to the weather now, I'm with meteorologist Andrew Brightman in the Pinpoint Weather Center. Andrew, earlier we were talking frigid, chilly, cold,
adjectives,
freezing. What more can we say? It is cold outside.
Frigid. I mean, it is going to be brutally cold out there. I mean, you got the right color for some of the temperatures that we're dealing with tonight, Carolines. We're heading down into the low to mid-teens here in Charlotte. Frigid temperatures as we head through the overnight here, getting down close to 10 degrees, and some places up in the mountains are going to be flirting with 0. That's how cold it's going to be getting here across the Carolinas. Dangerously cold conditions are likely on the way. So what are we expecting here over the next few days? Those frigid temperatures overnight. It's going to be cold all week long here across the Carolinas. Do not expect those temperatures to get much warmer. We are watching Saturday for the potential, at least a little bit of snow, especially maybe a little bit farther off here to the east of Charlotte. A little bit of a winter wonderland right now up in Boone as they continue to see a little bit of light snow, and also temperatures so cold, no treatment of the roadways is really going to be any effective here when it comes to salt or brine because temperatures are so low. Do have the extreme cold warnings in effect for our mountain counties. Avery, Ash, Watauga counties that go until noon on your Tuesday for feels like temperatures as low as 20 degrees below 0. Right now, as promised, it's getting cold fast. 22 degrees, winds out of the north-northwest at 8 miles an hour. The winds have come down. So have the temperatures. That means the wind chill values continue to fall across the Carolinas. Pinpoint radar, not much going on here. Radar as we zoom out here, northwesterly flow, still a little bit of that upslope flow, getting that orographic lift, squeezing out a little bit of moisture here across the mountains. Temperatures, these are the air temperatures, 5 in Jefferson, 4 in Boone. Low 20s now in around the central Carolinas. You factor in the wind chill. It currently feels like 18 degrees below 0 right now in Boone. Dangerous cold up across the mountains. I'm talking more about your forecast and what's on the way this week, Caroline, coming up in just a few minutes.
Thanks, Andrew. You can keep a close eye on the temperatures tonight and the weather going forward with the Pinpoint Weather app. It's free to download in the Apple App Store and on Google Play. There may be less ice on the roads, but that does not mean it's gone. This is a look at Shopton Road in southwest Charlotte from earlier. A lot of what melted today is refreezing tonight. Road conditions are also prompting school districts like Charlotte-Mecklenburg schools to switch to remote learning tomorrow. Others like Union County Public Schools will be closed entirely because of icy roads and bridges. Queen City News reporter Shakira Speaks joins us now from West Charlotte. Shakira, what are you seeing out there?
Yeah, Caroline, we're along I-85, one of Charlotte's major highways to get anywhere in the Charlotte metro area. As we were driving around today, we still noticed that there was some ice on the ground, and what has melted is now refreezing, just like you said. State transportation officials say that that's what's most concerning about tonight's freeze.
Black ice is what's going to be really dangerous for folks who are even trying to travel tomorrow, because these temperatures on Tuesday are going to be really frigid.
Tonight, North Carolina transportation crews are treating the roads for another overnight freeze.
It's ice. You just you can't see it. It's just ice that sits on the pavement, and because it's invisible and you're driving along, a lot of times it's too late before you realize that you're on black ice and your car is sliding.
South Carolina workers are preparing as well. Lancaster County's Emergency Management Director Darren Player says they're still in a winter weather protocol. He's encouraging people to stay off the roads until later in the day if they can.
We don't respond with the speed that we would normally try to respond. We try to use really due regard because there are icy spots still on our roads, and in the morning there'll be a lot of refreezing overnight. And on our secondary roads particularly, there's pretty long patches.
Transportation departments in both states deployed more than 6,000 crews over the last several days, and they've been treating the roads since the storm started.
They've continued today, and just listening to some of them on one of our calls today, they were already moving on to some secondary roads in many of our highway divisions.
Officials say Monday's warmer temperatures helped crews quickly and easily plow the roads.
Travel lanes look really good, and now we're trying to get to some of our primary roads, and secondary roads will probably still hit tomorrow. I'd say yesterday we were very fortunate to not have it be as probably as serious as it could have been.
Several government offices like Lancaster County, York County, Rowan County will operate on a 2-hour delay just to give the roads some time to dry up. State transportation officials say they're also working on clearing the secondary roads just to make sure that they're smooth and as safe as possible. For now, reporting in Charlotte, Shakira Speaks, Queen City News.
Thanks, Shakira. Charlotte area transportation system officials say they'll offer limited services tomorrow from 8 a.m. to midnight. Gold Line and Express bus services are suspended. They're set to reopen on Wednesday. The Blue Line will operate at normal frequency, but there will be detours because of some of the road conditions. Check the CATS Pass app along with CATS social media pages for any updates. Airline disruptions from the winter storm will continue tomorrow. About 40 flights are already canceled on Tuesday's schedule at Charlotte Douglas International Airport. That's down from 590 today. A passenger told us canceled flights on his trip from Miami from Memphis left him stuck in Charlotte.
Still can't get my bags, and now they rescheduled us for this evening. So we've been stuck here buying food, drinks, and everything from out of here. They shipped us here for a connecting flight, and it's never been connected. We've been here over 24 hours.
Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy says things should start to clear up by Wednesday. Utility crews are hard at work restoring power to homes that lost it in the winter storm. At one point, there were about 30,000 customers without power in the Carolinas. Tonight, it's half that number, with most of the remaining outages being in western North Carolina and upstate South Carolina. Duke Energy representatives say self-healing technology helped prevent many people from losing power in our area. It allows them to route electricity around areas where lines are down.
Really become a game changer for us. And right now we're continuing to integrate that technology across the grid, but approximately 75% of our customers in the Carolinas are served by that technology.
Duke crews say the technology helped avoid 1.4 million customer outages last year. Several Charlotte and Mecklenburg County officials will be in Raleigh Thursday to testify about the city's transit safety efforts. The North Carolina House Select Oversight Committee is holding that hearing. Republican leaders are focusing on recent violent incidents like August's stabbing death of Irina Zarutska on the Blue Line train. Witnesses called to testify include Charlotte Mayor Vi Lyles, CATS CEO Brent Cagle, and Mecklenburg County Sheriff Gary McFadden. Davidson commissioners will vote tomorrow on whether to expand one of the town's 2 social districts. 2 new businesses are looking to join the Main Street district, where customers can get food and take alcoholic drinks to go within a specified space. Commissioners discussed the expansion plan at their January 13th meeting.
Coming up after the break, talking more about the brutally cold temperatures tonight and what's on the way for the rest of the week across the Carolinas with my full pinpoint forecast next.
I would have sat at that bar a little longer.
And fire destroys a community landmark dating back nearly 100 years. What workers at Blowing Rock's Bistro Roca are saying about their future.
I like to just motivate people. Hey, you don't necessarily need to do this, but I want to motivate people to do their best.
It's all in the breathing. You'll meet a Pinehurst man who takes his conditioning one breath at a time in tonight's Faces of the Carolinas.
We got a whole lot coming your way at 11 o'clock on Carolina Sports Live. The Hornets starting to build up a lot of buzz around the country and around the NBA as well. Their latest win, and it was a big one as they snapped a long streak against the 76ers. Plus, a huge update to the NASCAR playoff schedule, and also coming up in the NFL, as well as Charlotte's very own Drake May is heading to the Super Bowl. We'll hear from him and have a lot more at 11 o'clock right here on CSL.
You're watching Queen City News, the most honored and the most local news in Charlotte. During the ice storm, a fire torched a landmark that brings back fond memories for people in Blowing Rock. A day after everyone heard the news, the community is making donations to a place that's given them so much for generations. Queen City News reporter John Lee shows us the damage and resolve after the fire.
In the bitter cold, this is a chilling sight for folks in Blowing Rock. A historic destination is history, at least for now.
It's crazy.
Bartender Jolene Catrone worked Saturday night, hours before flames ripped through Bistro Roca.
If I would have sat at that bar a little longer.
The cause of the fire is still under investigation, and the staff that feels like family is still reeling.
This is such a part of the community. This building's been here since 1932. To have it just gone is overwhelming.
The venue began as Antlers Bar close to a century ago, the oldest continuously running bar in the state. Over the years, Bistro Roca became a central gathering place for wonderful memories.
I mean, it was definitely just shock and awe that, from being in the middle of an ice storm with, the fires roaring, it was surreal.
The community has already rallied to help with donations that will help employees stay on their feet.
Really, our focus first was making sure everybody was safe, and now it's trying to figure out how we can best support our staff.
And while it may not seem like there's a lot to salvage from this scene, they continue to pull out remnants of the past, including pictures of dogs displayed in the bar area that carry a lot of sentimental value. The Blowing Rock Fire Department recovered hundreds of the pet pictures. While we were there, Jolene found one in the rubble.
It's one of our customers' photos. His name's Baxter.
And that was a feature that obviously meant a lot to people, right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, my dogs were on the wall somewhere over there.
The ray of hope is that the owners have the resolve to rebuild in a town that's anxious to help.
We do have plans to rebuild. That's something that we need to focus on right now, and what that looks like, we don't know. But we know we're going to rebuild. This place means too much to the community. It means too much to us.
But what they're left with now is the blackened reality that's hard to accept.
Didn't know, like, none of us would be walking back into this building.
In Blowing Rock, John Lee, Queen City News.
People have already donated about $30,000 through a fundraiser for the business. The Blowing Rock Chamber of Commerce has also launched a campaign for Bistro Roca. To find out more, go to our story at qcnews.com. Travelers are experiencing headaches at airports throughout the country following the winter weather. That includes Raleigh-Durham International. Delays and cancellations there are stacking up. One traveler on his way back home to Kansas City said he's had back and forth trips throughout North Carolina.
I've been here since 2 o'clock this morning. Pushed out, pushed in, pushed out, pushed in, and now they've canceled it all together and have now moved me back to my original flight, which is now in Fayetteville.
Crews at RDU will monitor conditions with that risk of refreezing overnight. You're looking live tonight in Monroe. We are also worried about the frigid temperatures tonight and what that'll mean for any lingering wet spots. Meteorologist Andrew Brightman is with me now. Andrew, I told you on my dinner break I was slipping and sliding around outside. It is slick out there.
Yeah, the real concern is the black ice because a couple of things. We had so much of the melting go on today, which is good. As we were talking about earlier here, the highways are mostly in good shape across the Carolinas, but the rapid refreeze that we've seen here with the melting. There is black ice everywhere. If you got to be out the door here early tomorrow, just give yourself a couple of extra minutes. It will be slick out there for anything that's not treated. And the thing is, rock salt is going to be relatively not affected because of how cold it's getting here across the Carolinas. Below about 15, it's completely useless. 22 degrees right now. Winds out of the north-northwest about 8 miles an hour. Dew points down around 6. It's very, very dry, too. You need a little bit of moisturizer here on the skin. King Street up in Boone, so winter wonderland. They're still seeing the snow showers out there and also getting some reports of a snow squall out in Asheville. So there is some snow shower activity across the higher elevations. Everyone now is noticeably colder compared to 24 hours ago, and very much so up across the mountains where it's 20 to 30 degrees colder compared to this time yesterday. And that's also where we're seeing some of the very dangerous wind chill values, 15 to 20 degrees below zero elsewhere. Those real feel values about 10 to 15 currently here across the region. Pinpoint radar is quiet right now as we zoom out. We got high pressure moving in, northwesterly flow running into the mountains, squeezing out some of that moisture here. We're getting a little bit of the snow shower activity throughout the higher elevations. We're not going to be seeing that though here in Charlotte. Temperatures continue to fall. Check out Nashville and Knoxville down around 12 in Memphis. This is some true Arctic air. What we were talking about earlier here, the black ice, that is going to be a major factor. Everything that melts, if it doesn't evaporate and you didn't see dry blacktop, got to be worried about that rapid refreezing. And that's exactly what we're seeing right now across the region. Futurecast, low temperatures tonight dipping down probably low to mid-teens here in Charlotte. It is going to be very, very cold. You're going to need the spacesuit here as you're going out to work tomorrow. That's how chilly it's going to be. Now as we go throughout your Tuesday, temperatures should move up here, probably pushing back up into the upper 30s, close to the 40-degree mark as we get to your Tuesday afternoon, mostly clear skies. Heading into your Tuesday night, we've got temperatures dipping down low to mid-20s. Also going to be chilly again up across the mountains here. Definitely need to be bundled up for sure. Now as we head into your Wednesday morning, it's more of the same, low 20s to start. Temperatures move up to around 40 here as we head into the afternoon hours. So you've got some chilly days ahead across the region. Could see a couple of snow showers late Wednesday night into your Thursday, but generally dry all week long. What we're watching here as we get towards the end of the week into your Saturday, I'll talk more about that coming up in a few minutes here, a little bit later on in the hour, give you a preview of what we're watching down the road. Forecast wind chills, dangerous cold here. We're not messing around up across the mountains. This could be potentially deadly for someone that's out there long enough throughout the higher elevations. Now, Tuesday morning, real field temperatures here in Charlotte, probably single digits likely on the way. Start to warm up a little bit. We get a little bit of southwesterly flow. That will help, but we're locked into the cold temperatures here for quite a little while throughout the Carolinas as we go at least through the middle part of the week before we get some relief. But that's just from the winds dying down. It's still going to be feeling very, very cold. Still noticing real field temperatures up in the mountains down to around 10 to 15 degrees below zero again. As for the overnight hours here in Charlotte, likely heading down into the low to mid-teens. Very chilly weather, single digits as we head up into the higher elevations. Temperatures feeling probably elsewhere about 10 to 15 in around Charlotte. Your pinpoint 7-day forecast. We are watching the potential, Caroline, for maybe a couple of snow showers here towards the end of the week. I'll be talking more about that coming up and a little bit later on in the hour.
Got to get used to the cold, Andrew. Thanks. Improving the quality of olive oil in America. Why one expert says this can help the consumer and the folks in charge of making it. You're watching Queen City News, the most honored and the most local news in Charlotte. Two California lawmakers are working to improve labeling standards for olive oil in America. They believe the current system hurts both consumers and growers. Maddie Beertemple tells us more about the legislation.
Putting it on a little plate with some balsamic and some Italian seasoning and dipping some bread.
My kids love putting in their toast in the morning.
However you like to eat it.
Olive oil is something that everyone loves.
But California Congressman Josh Harder and David Valadao say there aren't clear labeling standards for olive oil, which means you might not always be buying what you think you are.
Could be good, it could not be good. It could be adulterated, it could be saying it's something else.
The Republican and Democrat represent California counties that lead the nation in olive oil production. They're pushing to pass the Olive Oil Standards Act to require the FDA to create identity and grade standards for the product. Valadao, who's a dairy farmer, says it's overdue.
This is something that we've had for years with the dairy industry. If a consumer goes and buys cheddar cheese or mozzarella or whatever dairy product, the standards of identity are there to protect the consumer.
And with the administration's new dietary guidelines recommending olive oil as a healthy fat, Joe Profaci with the North American Olive Oil Association is optimistic the FDA takes action.
This is olive oil's moment in the sun.
But when it comes to what you buy on store shelves, Profaci says his association found in a 2024 study that 85% of the olive oil market didn't have other ingredients like seed oils mixed in.
It's largely a perception more than a reality. when it comes to retail.
Bravachi says that's not always the case, though, when it comes to food service. He says a national standard is needed, which is why his group has petitioned the FDA for one for years.
Consumers deserve to have full faith and confidence that what they're buying is consistent with what it says on the label.
In Washington, I'm Maddie Beertemple.
People across the eastern U.S. are without power, dealing with the aftermath of the weekend's major winter storm, when they could see some relief. And a cat theft caught on camera, where the investigation stands after authorities arrested a suspect. You're watching Queen City News, the most honored and the most local news in Charlotte. This weekend's winter storm affected more than 200 million people in dozens of states. Vinay Simlat reports on the system's lingering effects.
Here in Washington, D.C., we got about 6 inches of snow on the ground, and on top of that, a layer of ice from sleet and freezing rain that was falling for most of Sunday. The roads still are slick in some spots, and we expect the temperatures to plummet. Snow, sleet, and freezing rain blanketed millions of Americans over the weekend. In Nashville, sleet and freezing rain weighed down trees and brought down power lines. On Monday afternoon, more than 700,000 people across the country were still without power. Crews in Louisiana say it could take days to restore it.
We consistently see limbs continue to fall as we speak.
Hundreds of car accidents piled up across the country, too. This Prius lost control in Austin. In Memphis, the sheriff's office says its cruiser got stuck in the snow. Meantime, at airports, crews raced to clear runways. FlightAware reports more than 5,000 flights canceled across the country, at least 17,000 delayed on Monday at airports from Dallas to Boston. In the Northeast, snow started falling early Sunday morning.
It's been coming down since. Didn't let up at all.
New York City saw its snowiest day in years. Nearly a foot fell in Central Park, tying up drivers across the city.
I was about to go clean my building, thinking the streets was clear enough, but it's not.
The National Weather Service says about half of the people in the United States will experience extremely cold temperatures. They're calling it dangerously cold, meaning for a lot of the country, those power outages, those trees down, those slick roads will stick around. In Washington, I'm Vinay Simlat. Back to you.
Officials in Greenville, South Carolina are urging people to stay away from parks because of the storm. Groundskeepers need to clear trails and walkways. Greenville City Hall is closed and council meetings are canceled. The police chief is telling people to make sure they stay safe if they do go outside.
We know people get cabin fever. You're stuck inside. It's nasty outside, but today it's changed a lot. Sun's out, it's melting, and you can get out and walk. And we certainly understand that, but please follow the rules of the road. Follow your pedestrian laws. Walk facing traffic to the far side of the road, and that way if you see a vehicle approaching you, you can safely move out of the way and let them pass by.
Greenville's bus service also didn't run today, and all trash pickup services are delayed by 1 day. Members of the National Transportation Safety Board will meet tomorrow to determine what caused a deadly mid-air collision near Washington, D.C. The meeting comes nearly 1 year after an American Airlines regional jet and an Army Black Hawk helicopter crashed over the Potomac River near Reagan National Airport. 67 people died, including members of a Charlotte-based flight crew. Investigators discovered the helicopter was flying higher than it was supposed to that night. They also found the helicopter's assigned route was too close to the jet's assigned landing pattern.
We realized at best there was only 75 feet of vertical separation between a helicopter going down Route 4 and a plane landing at 3-3.
The Federal Aviation Administration is already issuing permanent rules to ensure helicopters and airplanes no longer share the same airspace near Reagan Airport. 6 people are dead after a business jet crashed on takeoff in a snowstorm at Bangor International in Maine. It took off at about 7:45 last night as the storm was moving into the area. An audio recording from air traffic controllers said the aircraft was upside down about 45 seconds after takeoff. Experts say ice buildup on the wings stopped that model of plane from getting airborne twice before. They're questioning whether that's what led to last night's crash. The Trump administration is launching investigations into the death of Alex Preddy in a shooting involving immigration officers. Border Patrol Chief Greg Bavino and some of his agents are leaving Minneapolis tomorrow, according to the city's mayor. Brona Tumulty tells us about the response.
This tragedy occurred as a result of a deliberate and hostile resistance by Democrat leaders in Minnesota.
The White House today doubling down on Democrats being to blame when it comes to the deaths of both Renee Good and Alex Preddy in Minnesota, with Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt calling out Governor Tim Walz and Mayor Jacob Fry in particular.
They have also used their platforms to encourage left-wing agitators to stalk, record, confront, and obstruct federal officers who were just trying to lawfully perform their duties.
Tensions have flared across the country in the wake of Preddy's death after he was shot and killed in the streets Saturday, prompting rallies nationwide. Leavitt highlighting a phone call earlier too between Walz and the president. Trump, she says, outlining a 3-point plan to calm chaos, which includes a demand for local police to work directly with federal agents and for anyone undocumented and behind bars to be handed over to the government. That agenda comes as Border Czar Tom Homan heads to Minnesota to take over as point person for all immigration operations, a move Leavitt stressed is not a poor reflection on the work of Kristi Noem.
Secretary Noem still has the utmost confidence and trust of the President of the United States.
Meanwhile, a judge today in Minnesota hearing arguments about a push to pause the surge in ramped-up federal immigration enforcement, which, according to the Attorney General there, is fueled by motives other than public safety.
In a state that is not even in the top of immigration, what justifies this disproportionate flood? Nothing legitimate, but the president has been clear. Retribution, he's been clear. He's going to, we didn't vote for him, so he was really salty about that.
Officers in Fayetteville are investigating after a shooting that killed a mother and her 2 adult children. It happened last night. The victims are 50-year-old Sherry Smith, her 29-year-old son Aaron Poole, and her 25-year-old daughter Amanda Smith, who died from gunshot wounds after being rushed to the hospital. A neighbor of the family says she jumped out of bed after hearing the gunshots.
I know I live in Fayetteville, but I don't really hear it too much in this neighborhood, and then you just hear a whole round of shots. That was scary.
Investigators say a fight broke out between Smith and someone she knew. They found that suspect stabbed multiple times. He is in the hospital and facing 3 counts of first-degree murder. In Johnston County, North Carolina, there are new details in the deadly shooting of a man by deputies. That man was 63-year-old Anthony Richardson. His wife says he was diagnosed with PTSD 5 years ago, stemming from his time in the Army. She says her husband started acting erratically and she heard a gunshot come from the garage yesterday.
And I told 911 that he was having a manic episode and he has been diagnosed with PTSD and that we need some help here and that he has a gun. And so about 15 minutes later, the sheriff department pulled us up. About 4 or 5 sheriffs pulls up with their guns drawn, and the garage door was closed, and they was calling for him to come out with his hands up.
Officials say deputies told Richardson to put his gun down, but he, quote, challenged them. At least one deputy fired their weapon. Authorities say the deputies provided first aid, but the man died at the scene. A South Carolina family is searching for their beloved cat, Willa, after a surveillance camera recorded a DoorDash driver stealing the pet. As Hannah Baker reports, authorities say they arrested the suspect, but there's still no sign of Willa.
Willa's family says security footage shows a food delivery driver taking their cat. They say her collar and tracking device were removed. They're now relying on her microchip and the community to help bring her home. A routine food delivery in a safe neighborhood ended with a family searching for answers.
We found her AirTag and her collar ripped off and thrown off to the side of a street a mile away and knew that she had been stolen.
Willa, the beloved 4-year-old calico cat, was last seen by her family January 15th near Church Street. When they got an alert, her AirTag was blocks away. They knew something was wrong. They pieced together security footage from around the area. Right now, you're seeing footage of what the family says is Catherine Barnes, a food delivery driver, scooping Willa up off of Church Street, putting her in the car, and driving off. Moments later, security cameras down the road caught Willa's collar and AirTag being tossed out the window.
We immediately called the police, filed a police report, and the police really carried the investigation on to identify the actual suspect in theft and get her arrested this weekend.
And we really could not have done this without the help of our community and our neighbors.
Barnes was arrested and charged with petty larceny, but there is still no sign of Willa. Her family says the last known location is Goose Creek. While Willa is microchipped, she cannot be found unless she is scanned at a local shelter or vet clinic.
If you can pick her up, take her to any animal shelter, any vet clinic, they can scan her. If they get it scanned, they'll have the microchip number. And that's what that's what it's used for. So it's connected to that person.
They're hoping the community can come together to help bring her home, especially with the freezing weather conditions.
We want to find Willa. We want to know where she is. It's going to be 20 degrees the next several days. The idea of her being loose and on the run is horrific.
They are working with pet helpers and offering multiple rewards to anyone who finds her. You can email bringourwillahome@gmail.com or call 843-452-2204.
We are so thankful and grateful for the incredible amount of people who have come forward to us to help us with anything they may know. Please email our email address with anything you think may be relevant. The community has really continued to help us and are not stopping. And we will continue until we get Willa home.
Coming up after the break, talking more about some of the brutal cold on the way this week and what we're watching here potentially towards the end of the week with our full pinpoint forecast next.
He's taking his strength one breath at a time. The Pinehurst man is going for a record in a category you may not have ever even heard of. You're watching Queen City News, the most honored and the most local news in Charlotte. A North Carolina man pulls off feats of strength that might make your jaw drop. He's hoping to take his exploits on the road to establish a record at venues like Charlotte Motor Speedway. Queen City News storyteller John Lee explains what this strong man from Pinehurst has in store next in tonight's Faces of the Carolinas.
I've always been one to kind of push the limits.
John Brookfield's life has revolved around strength and conditioning. You might even say his routine puts him over a barrel or two. They're filled with water and weigh 325 pounds each. And when you watch him do those hanging leg raises with a water keg,
no one's ever seen this stuff before, by the way.
It's easy to see why he's always been like a powerful locomotive.
I like to just motivate people. Hey, you don't necessarily need to do this, but I want to motivate people to do their best.
I mean, this is the strong man who once pulled a tractor trailer with a partner for 1 mile in less than 51 minutes. He also invented the ropes training system, commonly used in the NFL. And for fun, John bends steel by hand to make sculptures, including 2 that he donated to the town of Pinehurst.
So that's about 200 pounds of steel.
He maintains his grip by tugging on a car that's, of course, set in neutral. It's something to do when he's not, bending nails and horseshoes.
And then I'll move down to the pinky.
John says the engine that drives him is his breathing technique, which he calls Rise Plus Restore. Whoa, Darth Vader vibes. Now, when some of us suck in our tummies, it might be to look a little bit more fit than we actually are. Now, when Johnny does it, though, it seems like he has the power to move mountains, or U-Hauls. His latest Herculean challenge doesn't require his arms or legs. Instead, he'll rely on muscles in his midsection while simply breathing.
It's the first and last thing we'll ever do.
In this case, he tugs a moving truck, which weighs about 13,000 pounds. Instead of U-Haul, it's more like I-Haul.
And I'll just sit and I just vacuum my stomach back, and it's a short range of motion, but the truck will pull maybe 3, 4, 5 foot.
He says he's been in talks with NASCAR to try to establish a breathing pool record at mid-Atlantic race venues, including Charlotte Motor Speedway. He'll attempt to heave the front end of a tractor trailer 100 times in short spurts, just like this.
So the whole power is with the breath. On the exhale, vacuuming my stomach in.
John has made a name for himself in all sorts of ways, but this one could be breathtaking.
Does your business card say heavy breather?
Actually, I don't have a business card right now. I got a couple new websites, but it doesn't say heavy breather.
In Pinehurst, John Lee, Queen City News.
When he does try to establish a breathing pull record, he'll do so by moving a tractor trailer hauler, which typically weighs 18,000 pounds. Good luck to him. They were not kidding when they said we've never seen anything like that before. Taking a live look tonight at King Street in Boone, where we can see a dusting of snow on the ground. There's a chance we could see some more snow next weekend. Meteorologist Andrew Brightman joins me now.
Yeah.
I know it's a little far out, but...
Yeah, I don't like talking too much with specifics when it comes to snow because, people tend to really focus on that. But that's really the only thing that we're watching here in the next 7 days is a chance of maybe some snow showers as we get to Saturday. Otherwise, it's just bone dry and very, very cold. Very, very cold is a great way to describe what we're going to see tonight, Carolinas. We see temperatures dip down into the low to mid-teens here across the Carolinas. It is going to be frigid across the region. Banner Elk right now, it's cold. The breeze almost kind of feels like you're in a freezer. 22 degrees right now. There's wintry conditions again outside in King Street and Boone. Still a little bit of light snow coming down across the higher elevations. One final check on some of the ice reports that we got over the weekend. Monroe picked up some of the highest that I have seen so far, at least across the central Carolinas, of 35/100ths of an inch of freezing rain. A 1/4 inch in Charlotte. Now, this is around 4 o'clock. I think we picked up a little bit after this, but we were really fortunate that we didn't see more. If we had seen probably over a 1/2 inch or so of what was possible, and to a degree indicated here with some of our guidance that we've been talking about, probably 10 to 20x the amount of power outages that we saw across in Mecklenburg County. We were very lucky in that respect. Cherville picked up a 1/4 inch, Indian Trail a 1/4 inch, and then Rock Hill picked up about 1/1800 of an inch of freezing rain, or that ice accretion. Now, sleet reports here in Morganton, as we expected, as we got up into the foothills, picked up over 2 inches. Turnersburg, a little over 1.5 inches, in Concord, Granite Falls, 1.5 inches, and about an inch or so in Charlotte. Wind chill values now, all that melted is now refreezing here. Check out these wind chill values, 13 degrees below zero right now in Boone. It is dangerously cold across the higher elevations as those temperatures just continue to fall and fall and fall. Radar right now is quiet. It's going to be staying that way. There's really no issues here until really we get to the end of the week outside a couple of those light snow showers as we get on up into the mountains. Temperatures still remain very, very cold, and they're going to be staying that way for the foreseeable future. Futurecast now, early tomorrow morning, I think we're going into the low teens here in Charlotte as we keep moving forward. Afternoon hours, it's going to be a struggle really just to get to the 40-degree mark again. And that is really just going to be a trend as we go all throughout this week here throughout the region. As we get to 8 o'clock here on your Tuesday, we've got mostly clear skies. Another cold night in store as we dip down likely here into the low to mid-20s. As we go into your Wednesday, it's more of the same. Low 20s to start. Temperatures get up to around the 40-degree mark as we head into the afternoon. Now, Wednesday evening, got a bit of a reinforcing front moving through. A couple of snow showers on the table here across the higher elevations. And as we keep moving forward into your Thursday, it's another cold start. Rinse, repeat, but without any of the water here as we stay really dry throughout the Carolinas. But let's get to what we're watching and what's just basically on the table here as we get towards the end of the week. Keeping a close eye as we get to your Thursday, we got cold air moving in, and we're going to be watching potentially a little bit of a low pressure system trying to develop as it makes its way towards the eastern seaboard. Taking development here offshore near Savannah, maybe south of Charleston. The potential is right now, at least for some snow showers here. A little bit of a change in the track or how quickly it gets developed could have big impacts either direction here, either going to a snowstorm here in Charlotte or to completely nothing this weekend. So it's just something right now we're kind of in the watching phase. And by the time we get tomorrow, we'll get a much better idea. But there is some potential here for, especially east of Charlotte, across the eastern half of North and South Carolina. This is something that bears watching, at least over the next couple of days here, and then it moves on down. Just also a reinforcing shot of cold air as we head into the weekend. It's going to stay brutally cold out there. Highs might even not get above freezing. Forecast wind chill values 23 or so below zero early tomorrow morning here. Truly feeling like a meat locker as we get up into the mountains. And as we go throughout your Tuesday, even during the afternoon hours, still going to be feeling like the middle teens here in Charlotte. Your pinpoint 7-day forecast. Cold weather not going anywhere, and you see what I'm talking about as we get to your Saturday and Sunday. Snow showers or not, it is going to be very, very cold this weekend. Caroline?
Thanks, Andrew. The wintry weather forced the closure of many businesses. Why that didn't stop a group of walking celebrities from making their way through the storm. And Gabe McDonald is here with a preview of Carolina Sports Live at 11.
Yeah, they got plenty coming up, especially with the Charlotte Hornets playing some of their best ball in quite a while, getting another win and snapping a streak against the 76ers. We recap their big win, plus a big change in the NASCAR Cup Series playoffs. The Roval is no more, at least for this year, and also a big change in the ACC Championship coming up later in December at the Bank as well. All that and a whole lot more at the top of the hour on CSL.
You're watching Queen City News, the most honored and the most local news in Charlotte. The Buddhist monks on a 2,000-mile walk for peace did not let the winter storm stop them on their path. This video from Raleigh police shows freezing rain, sleet, and snow did not rain on their parade. It also didn't stop the large crowd who came out to see the walk on days 91 and 92 of the monks' trip to Washington, D.C. They were forced to cancel a peace talk on Saturday as they wanted to protect anyone who came out from the cold temperatures. Staying on the topic of resilient walkers, an Ohio man was not going to miss a day of work for the conditions, even if his car wasn't cooperating. Jonathan Rose decided to walk through the storm to get to his job. He was one of the few people out walking at the time.
It can be difficult sometimes. The intersection up here doesn't really help with how people usually are with driving, but with how usually the sidewalks aren't plowed at all either. So they're always icy.
That's a good employee there. Rose says he had a feeling of triumph after making it through the conditions. You're watching Queen City News, the most honored and the most local news in Charlotte. We'll be right back with a final check of your pinpoint forecast, followed by Carolina Sports Live. Download the Queen City News Plus app on your smart TV using either a Roku, Apple TV, or Amazon Fire device. Carolina Sports Live is next at 11. We also have a new episode of Stars of Service focusing on a woman who served in the Army and Air Force and how the military community helped her through trying times. And a new episode of Ground Control looks at how TV and movies depict space travel. Watch it all on our new Queen City News Plus app. Andrew, that's yours.
Yeah, I might be a little biased here, but I'd highly recommend that episode of Ground Control. But Caroline, you know the words here. Let's close this out in style. We've got a lot of sunshine, cold temperatures on the way as we go throughout the rest of this week. Watching those Saturday for at least a chance of snow showers. Nonetheless, though, brutally cold this weekend.
Yeah, everyone's going to want to make sure they bundle up.
Yep.
Thanks for joining us. Carolina Sports Live is next.
Now, it's CSL, Carolina Sports Live.